Minister Manmohan Singh says a mindless atmosphere of negativity and pessimism over the issue of corruption is hurting India's image. A statement coming in the backdrop of a series of scams and allegations that have clearly dented at least the image of the UPA government. Hello and welcome to We Mean Business. I'm Shweta Rajpal-Kohli. On the show today, we're discussing if crony capitalism is on the rise and if processes are being put in place to ensure greater transparency and accountability in governance. Let me start by introducing the guests we have with us here on the show. With me here in the Delhi studio, Mr. Sheshadri Chari, National Executive Member of the BJP, and M.K. Venu, Managing Editor of the Financial Express. Also joining us on a link, Sumant Sinha, a very well-known entrepreneur, and Mayank Gandhi, Anna Team's member and an RTI activist. Many thanks all of you for being with us. But before we start the show, let's take you through what the Prime Minister really said today with regard to corruption, saying the mindless atmosphere of negativity and pessimism that is sought to be created over the issue of corruption can do us no good. It is proposed to include corporate failure to prevent bribery as a new offence on the supply side. Also going on to say, experience has shown that big ticket corruption is mostly related to operations by commercial entities. Prevention of Corruption Act will be amended to fill gaps in the legislation and bringing it in line with international practices. Also saying our government stands firm in its commitment to do everything possible to ensure probity, transparency and accountability in governance. Faster economic growth has led to newer opportunities for corruption, ones associated with specialization and expansion of the economy. And saying the economic reforms initiated in the early 1990s greatly reduced corrupt practices associated with controls and the license permit raj. So we'll try and understand what he has said and its impact. But before we start that discussion, a quick look at what the Prime Minister said, particularly about this mindless atmosphere and negativity that is being created about corruption. Let's quickly listen in.
The mindless atmosphere of negativity and pessimism that is sought to be created over the issue of corruption can do us no good. It can only damage our nation's image and hit at the morale of the executive. We need to ensure that even while the corrupt are relentlessly pursued and brought to book, the innocent are not harassed.
So before we start our discussion on whether or not crony capitalism is on the rise, let's try and understand what exactly is crony capitalism. M.K. Venu, would you like to explain it to our viewers?
See, crony capitalism, I remember Prime Minister Manmohan Singh some 2 years ago said that crony capitalism is a stage in the history of capitalist development which most societies go through.
Right.
Now, that's a fact. America went through a very, very strong phase of crony capitalism in the early 20th century. And there was a time, Shweta, in 1905, when JP Morgan owned 60% of all market capitalization in America. So there was such concentration of wealth because by then democracy had not taken roots in America. Mm-hmm. So not fully. When I say democracy, institutions of democracy which bring transparency had not got established. So in 1910, US President Woodrow Wilson actually brought in the Antitrust Act. He broke the back of the concentration of all those in whom wealth had concentrated, and all the big corporations were broken. And since then, at every stage, every 20 years, America had to, regulators had to actually break monopolies because capitalism creates a natural tendency for cornering of resources and building of monopolies.
Okay, that's interesting. Let me in fact give you a definition that Wikipedia puts out of crony capitalism, saying crony capitalism is a term describing an economy in which success in business depends on close relationships between businessmen and government officials. Sumant Sinha, would you like to comment on the fact that crony capitalism is almost inevitable? It's something that clearly cannot be avoided in a capitalist society.
Hi Shweta. No, I don't think that it can't be avoided. I think that, even if it can't be avoided, it certainly can be lessened quite substantially. I think what you require really for that to happen are, transparent rules and regulations that are enforced, most importantly, transparently as well. You require not a huge amount of discretion in the hands of government officials, because the moment there is discretion, that is where the ability to then start allocating resources or licenses to favored individuals comes into play. So I think that, perhaps it can't be avoided altogether, but it can certainly be lessened to a degree where it is no longer a relevant issue to debate in talk shows like this one.
All right, and of course, right now it remains a very, very relevant issue, especially if we look at the spate of allegations and scams that we've seen over the last few years. Mayank Gandhi, my question to you really is, can we safely say that crony capitalism in India is on the rise? It's something that seems to be increasing, or at least the public perception with regard to the kind of corruption and the kind of scams that have been unearthed is the fact that crony capitalism is all prevalent in Indian society.
Absolutely. If you see the kind of scams that have come out, I think that this crony capitalism is now morphing into a political entrepreneurship. Political families are getting into industry. It's not just the industrialists which are working closely with the politicians. There are now political families, and I can give you multiple examples from different parties or relatives and friends, and the political entities are now getting into business using their links with with politics to make money out of it. So it's no longer just about crony capitalism, it is political entrepreneurship.
Okay, that's an interesting point you've raised, Mayank, and let me actually get Mr. Seshadri Chari and Venu to respond to that. Mr. Chari first, is there anything wrong in politicians also being businessmen?
No, I personally feel it's nothing wrong if a politician does business or if a businessman gets into politics.
Okay.
But the problem starts with politician, businessman, bureaucracy nexus. This nexus is as bad as the muscle men getting into politics, helping politics and business. So this nexus is what fans crony capitalism. In fact, it is all about distribution of available resources. And the crony capitalism has not been brought out by just the opposition or some activist. The 12th plan, I'll just read out a sentence from the 12th plan. It says, any allocation for profit-making commercial activity involves some implicit rent if the price at which the transfer takes place is not in tune with the market-determined price. And this feeds the suspicion that crony capitalism is at work. This is what the 12th plan says.
There were ministers who were
objecting to this because 12th plan had the guts to say that crony capitalism is at work, especially on these 5 steps. And the first step of crony capitalism is distribution of available resources, scarce resources, not at market price, but at a price which is determined by the buyers with the help of those who are well placed in the government and who make the policies.
Okay, in fact, it's not saying that crony capitalism exists, but
no,
if I were also to quote
in
saying
a
that
way,
it feeds the suspicion that crony capitalism is at work.
I would say crony capitalism and socialism are two sides of the same coin. Crony capitalism is not capitalism at all. It is other side of socialism.
Okay, and that's an interesting take too.
From what Mayank Gandhi said, politicians can get into business.
Okay.
And as he said, businessmen can also get into politics. But there should be transparency and conflict. There should be institutionalized prevention of conflict of interest. I'll give you one example. In India, the education business is actually dominated by politicians and political families across the board. Everybody knows this. But therefore, there is across the board political consensus not to bring any reforms in education. You don't want to sort of bring more, new players, more competition, maybe more foreign players. There is opposition to foreign players on other counts, but my understanding is that education is controlled by political families in India. Real estate is controlled by a lot of political families who are in business. Equally, when businessmen enter politics, we see that some entrepreneur who's in certain business, he's also a member of the standing committee which is looking at that sector.
Right.
We've seen this in civil aviation, we've seen this in roads. Members of parliament.
Energy.
So are you saying that there needs to be a better mechanism to establish that conflict of interest? Because you may know about it, but often that doesn't even get...
Sort of level playing field.
Yeah.
The more important aspect is the level playing field.
Sure, go ahead, make your point.
I wanted to intervene here. I'm saying what also is not fair to a businessman is that once a politician enters business or a businessman becomes a politician, then he's holding two portfolios of a businessman and as an insider to the policy making. He has an unfair advantage. I do not think that is fair to the businessman, it is fair to the industry, it is fair to economy.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.